Hey, good morning everybody. I'm so excited to be here to deliver today's golf lesson and also to tell you about a special guest appearance we have here on May 6th and May 7th. His name is Barry Clayton. Now, some of you already know Barry. Some of you actually went out with Anthony and myself to California last year to take golf lessons from Barry and on a little golf outing, and that was a good time. Barry was my boss. He's the one who gave me my start in golf instruction. I worked for him starting in 1999, almost 2 decades. And in fact, the last season with him, last full season, was the season just before I came here in 2018. And so I've had a 2-decade-long relationship with him. He's won Teacher of the Year 4 different times there in Southern California out of hundreds of golf professionals. He's won Player of the Year twice. And so obviously he's a great communicator, and obviously he has a lot of knowledge, but what makes it most striking for most people is that when you're working with Barry, you feel like you're the only person in his universe. And that's because he's so committed to working with the person at hand and making sure that what he says comes across and making the individual feel good about their chances of making progress going forward. And so obviously there's a tremendous depth of respect and admiration I have for him, but as much as that, I have some excitement that he will get to meet you and that you'll get to meet him, and that he's finally coming to Horseshoe Bay after 3 long years in his busy schedule. And so be sure and check out the information below and call Caprock, sign up. And when you do, if you'd like a copy of Barry's book, he'll sign it for you. Also state that, because when you make your reservation, because he only has so many copies of his book, and you know, to travel with him, they don't travel so easily. And when you do, he'll sign it and give it to you, and make sure you say, hey, put me on the list. I want one of his books, and the first come, first serve. All right, so upcoming is today's golf lesson. Okay, so thanks for hanging in here with me. Today is about club selection around the green. This is a fun little experiment that you can do on your own that will reveal to you, without a doubt, what the club you should use around the green is, one that you're most proficient with, and let's talk about it. I have a standard chip shot here, and when I say standard, I mean it's not the kind of shot that has to stop quickly. The hardest shot around the green is the one that must put on the brakes after landing. It has to either go high or you have to hit spin on it, put spin on it. And this shot, we're just going to let it run out. But it's important to figure out which one of these clubs is best for you. And granted, it's going to vary depending on the length of the shot. But let's talk about this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit, I've got a shot about 25 feet, and I've got a sand wedge to start with. I'm going to hit my sand wedge, then my 5 balls, and then my approach wedge, 5 balls, and then my pitching wedge, then my 9-iron, then my 8-iron. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out definitively which one of those is most reliable. How? Well, I'm going to see what the total number of steps of these 5 balls that separate these 5 balls from the hole. And that'll make more sense as we go. All right, and so I've got the sand wedge right here. And I'm going to try and chip it near that hole. All right, there's the first one. Not too bad. Is the sand wedge the best club? We'll find out in just a second. All right, let's do it again. Oh, that one took off and went running a little bit. And then finally that one. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and see how many total steps separate my balls from the hole. There's 1, there's another ball there. There's 2, and there's 3. There's 4, and there's 5, 6. So with my sand wedge, I had a total of 6 steps in these 5 balls. Let's see what I do with my approach wedge. As I say, this is a test. It doesn't matter what my preference is. All that matters is that your preference, though it may not be the same as mine, is a preference that's founded on experimentation and not just something you do because you've always done it, you've never questioned it. Experiment for yourself. All right, let's see what's happening. This is not going to be quite as good. I've got 1 step, 2 steps for that other ball. 3 steps, uh-oh. 4, 5, 6. Nope, it's not going to be the approach wedge. 7, 8, 9. All right, let's go check out the pitching wedge. All right. How'd we fare? Think it's going to be close. Here's 1 step. Here's 1, 2, that's 3 altogether, 4, 5, again, 6, 7, 8, 9, it's going to be like 11 steps for the pitching wedge. So far, that's not the one. Let's check out the 9-iron, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here we go. All right, so here we have it. I don't think it's going to be a contest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's already lost. 7, 8. The sand wedge is still the leader with only 6 steps. All right, and then let's do one more, but I think it's going to be futile because remember the sand wedge was the best, and since then they've gotten incrementally worse. And so for this kind of fast downhill chip, I might need the sand wedge, but let's see, let's not count the 8-iron out yet. Just a little love bump with this thing. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? It looks like the 8-iron is going to win. 1, kick in, kick in, kick in, and 2. And so here's the thing, folks. You've always got to remember that just because you've been using a club, who would have thought that that 8-iron would be the best? Perhaps I got used to the slope, perhaps I developed a better understanding of how hard to swing, but regardless, that revealed to me that the 8-iron on this particular chip was the better club beyond the success of any of the others. And so you can't do enough experimenting. Don't just decide you're going to do something because you've always done it that way and have no idea where you heard it, but you do remember that somewhere along the way someone said that's the way you do it. Don't do that. Remember, the opposite of bravery is not cowardice. The opposite of bravery is conformity. Don't conform to just some idea that somebody gave you. Experiment on your own and decide which is best for you. I want to thank you for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.